Call to order this November 16th, 2020 at 6 p.m., the first Stormwater Utility Board meeting, our Stormwater Board meeting. We don't have any unfinished business, new business, approval of the meeting schedule. Did everybody get a copy of the schedule?
Sir, I need to invite the public to attend.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry.
The public is invited to attend. The Stormwater Board may impose reasonable restrictions on the number of attendees to control audience density in consideration of the existing COVID-19 national emergency. The public may participate remotely by dialing 463-777-8704 and entering the following participation code, 977359. If you would like to provide comments remotely, you may email them to rrafala@cityoflawrence.org. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Renee. In our schedule here, unfinished business, we have none. New business, the approval of the meeting schedule for 2021. Has everybody had a chance to see the schedule for 2021?
Yes.
That being said, I guess, do we make a motion on this, Mr. Bosma? Anybody want to make a motion to approve the schedule for 2021?
I motion to approve the schedule.
Yes, I'll second, being I'm the only one here. We do have a quorum, don't we?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Guess that approves the 2021 schedule. Moving on, resolution number 1, 2020, establishing rates and fees.
Good evening, Mr. Parnell, Ms. Basalik, is that how it's said?
Balasik.
Balasik, I'm sorry.
No problem.
My name is Brian Bosma with the law firm of Kroger, Gardis, and Regas in Indianapolis, and have been engaged by the city to reboot now. Excellent. I just asked if that was going to happen. There we go. Engaged by the City of Lawrence and the Mayor's Office to assist the city in withdrawing from the Marion County Stormwater District and to establish the City of Lawrence Stormwater District. We have a presentation here. I won't belabor it because I know you've had it, but in case there are members of the public that are interested. Just a little history for you. The Marion County Stormwater Management District was established in 2000 through an act of the legislature that allowed municipalities and counties to establish stormwater districts to manage increasing stormwater problems in the state. Initially, the town of Cumberland, and that should say Speedway, were excluded from the Marion County district because they established their own districts quickly before the Marion County district was established. Since that time, the city of Beech Grove in 2006 and the city of Southport in 2016 withdrew from the Marion County district. I actually assisted both of those municipalities with that for much of the same reason that we'll talk about. The mayor has been interested in withdrawing. There have been a series of stormwater fees increases that we all pay on our property tax bill throughout the county. And anyone that's in the county's district, which is the entire county with the exception of Beech Grove, Southport, Cumberland, and am I missing there? Speedway. So the stormwater fees are paid with your property tax bills, and they are placed into a special dedicated fund in Marion County that can only be used for stormwater projects. In 2006, the legislature amended the statute to allow municipalities, excluded cities and towns in Marion County to withdraw from the district. That was in part due to a reaction from both Beech Grove and Southport that the city of Indianapolis was not following its own municipal code that requires all fees collected in one of the excluded cities to either be used for projects in the city, the excluded city, or those that benefit the excluded city. So the fees collected in Lawrence to date are nearly $18 million, a little bit more than that actually, $15 million through 2018. and $18 million through 2019, and what we can best estimate for this year as well. The City of Indianapolis, or Marion County actually, indicated that they have spent somewhere along the lines of $9 million for projects. We'll talk about those in a minute. After administrative costs and some bond payments, approximately $10 million should have been expended by the Marion County District to benefit the City of Lawrence. The mayor has strongly encouraged the district to allocate additional funds to city projects and operation and maintenance of the City of Lawrence stormwater system without much movement. The Marion County District does contend that it has spent actually a little bit more than $10 million. After we presented this PowerPoint to the Common Council before the adoption of the ordinance that we'll talk about in a second, the Marion County Department of Public Works showed up. They had their own list. They didn't disagree too much. The real question is what of the proposed projects have been completed. Our tally is just a little bit over $4 million has been completed for the City of Lawrence. And then even these, your city engineer will tell you there's some discussion about whether all of these projects really benefited the City of Lawrence or not. The Pogues Run Detention Basin is actually located outside the city limits, although the DPW said they felt it was within the basin. So it hasn't been an ideal allocation of those funds. As I mentioned, out of order.
Has joined the conference.
As I mentioned out of order just a moment ago, in 2006, the statute was amended at the request of the City of Beech Grove, who intended to withdraw, and provided a clear path for excluded cities to withdraw, and towns to withdraw from the Marion County District. It requires notice to property owners and the DPW, which was accomplished. It requires adopting an appropriate ordinance of withdrawal, which the Common Council did effective October 21st. And then it requires the new City of Lawrence Stormwater District to establish its own stormwater district and fees. The ordinance takes effect 60 days after final adoption. So that'll be December 21, approximately this year. And notice to all 15,760 property owners was mailed by the city utilities on September 18th, approximately 200 returns on that. So virtually everyone in the city knew about it through a written notice to their home. And no one can't recall that anyone actually showed up at the Common Council even to ask a question about it. We did deliver notice to the Department of Public Works, the City of Indianapolis Department of Public Works, on September 18th, that the process was going forward. So what happens? What's the effect of withdrawal? The Act provides that if there are district bonds outstanding on the date of withdrawal, the excluded city continues to pay its pro rata share until the bonds are paid off. There is roughly, we don't know for a fact yet because there's been some refinancing by the Marion County Stormwater District, but it was represented at the council meeting by the Marion County Stormwater District that about $42 million worth of bonds remained outstanding. The City of Lawrence will continue to pay its pro rata share, which is a little bit less than 5% of those bond issues every year. This says through 2056. That was the original information that we had, but I think the DPW said it was, I said 42 million. It's actually through 2042. And here's the big ticket. If the city successfully withdraws prior to December 31 of this year, the Act provides that the fees that were collected in the city this year, 2020, will be distributed back to the City of Lawrence with the exception of bond payments that are due. So that will exceed about $1 million will come to the City of Lawrence from the Marion County Stormwater District for this year's fees. So that's why it was pretty imperative that we got all this done before the end of the year. 2020 fees are estimated to be $1.8 million. from which will be deducted the pro rata debt, which is approximately $300,000 this year. Also, the City of Lawrence has not paid for its public buildings the stormwater district fees. This was consistent with what the City of Beech Grove and the City of Southport did as well. And as we negotiate with the Marion County Stormwater District as to what will happen in the future, no doubt part of that will be for the city to pay those back fees. That's the city's amount, $450. The City of Indianapolis Department of Public Works said it was more like $502,000. We'll get to the bottom of that as we close this out after the first of the year. There's also a claim by the City of Lawrence to offset some of the additional fees that the Indianapolis City Code said should pay for projects in the City of Lawrence. There are a couple of big projects that are partially completed or underway that we're discussing along with Sri, with the City of Indianapolis to continue those projects at the City of Indianapolis or the Marion County Stormwater District's expense. There's no guarantee on that. Honestly, they're a little miffed that the City of Lawrence is leaving. Much larger than the City of Southport, significantly larger than the City of Beech Grove, and it is a loss of fees to the Marion County Stormwater District. So they're being cooperative. They're not necessarily happy about it, but we'll work through that with them. So there's Lawrence Department of Stormwater Management was established effective October 21st. The board, there actually was a code section that appeared in your online municipal code dated 2008. And so we presumed initially that the Stormwater Board had already been established, everything but the fees had been established. Once people started digging down into it, the 2008 ordinance was conditioned on the passage of a separate ordinance for fees that didn't work its way into the online code. So we were operating with the presumption that this board had already been established and in fact found out that it had not been. So effective October 21, the Common Council did adopt an ordinance that was virtually identical to the original conditional ordinance that established this board. Consists of 3 directors appointed by the mayor, the 2 of you, and then Mr. Robert Moreland, who is in Florida right now and was unable to be here this evening. The budget for the Stormwater District and the stormwater fees are subject to approval by the Common Council. So presuming that you all adopt the resolution that's before you tonight after the public hearing on it, that will be referred to the Common Council, and the Common Council will be meeting in, my timeline says in November, actually the meeting on the 21st, but it's going to be their meeting in December, their first meeting, and their second meeting, December, I think 5th and 16th, something like that, at which they will adopt an ordinance that pretty much so ratifies the resolution that you have before you. After your public hearing tonight, the fee recommendation, if adopted, will go to the City Council for approval. And then the 2021 stormwater fees will be collected by the county treasurer along with property taxes just as they are now. The City of Lawrence will be charged a fee of $10 per parcel per year for that.
Has joined the conference.
For that privilege. So this timeline is a little different. This is the one that was originally presented to the Common Council. But much of it is the same. September 18th, notice to all property owners and the Indy Department of Public Works was delivered. October 5th, the first reading of the ordinance of withdrawal by the council that was adopted finally on October 21st. Then we published notice of this evening's meeting and the public hearing on the fees that we're going to talk about in a moment on October 30th in the Indianapolis Star. Your meeting says the 10th there. That's not correct, and that was the original date that was selected. It's actually the 16th. That was what was in the publication, the November 16th meeting. And then the fees will be referred to the Common Council with the first reading on December 7th and the second reading on the 2 weeks later on their Wednesday meeting, which is December 16th. So those dates aren't correct. I don't know that we'll have to publish the stormwater rates. The only reason that they would have to be published is if there is a penalty in the rates. We do not provide for a penalty in the rates. We'll make that determination. We may still publish it just to be very careful and that there's no objection to what's the procedures that are adopted. December 21 is the effective date of withdrawal, and we're working with your Utilities Department to prepare a certified list of residents that are subject to the rates to get to the Treasurer's office. Wasn't a big deal in Southport, not such a big deal in Beech Grove. You've got almost 16,000 parcels here, so it'll take a little bit of work, but we'll make it happen. And then we will give formal notice effective December 21 to the Department of Public Works, Indianapolis Department of Public Works, notifying them of the passage of the ordinance. And then new stormwater rates will be in effect as of January 1, 2021. If it's all right, Mr. Acting Chairman, I'm going to discuss a little bit about the resolution in front of you, and then if there are members of the public who desire to give testimony, they can hear this explanation as well. The resolution that you have before you, Resolution 2020-01, does several things. First of all, it elects, that's it right there, it elects officers, and the proposed officers are Mr. Robert Moreland as president, Mr. David Parnell as vice president, and Ms. Janet Balasek, right? Sorry, I said it wrong the first time, as secretary of the board. And then Section 2 is the long section, and that is the actual adoption of the the stormwater utility rates. These rates are identical to the rates that are currently in effect for the Marion County Stormwater District. They actually increase by about 5% every year until 2034. That is identical to what Lawrence citizens currently have before them and are subject to. The only difference is who gets the money. So rather than the money that's collected with property taxes being transmitted to the Marion County Stormwater District to have the Marion County Stormwater Management Board make the decisions where those projects, where those monies will be invested in projects throughout the county, it will come to the City of Lawrence Stormwater Management Board, and with your Department of Stormwater Management, which is very much so the same as your engineering department and your utility department, you will have recommended to you decisions on operations and maintenance expenditures, a budget to submit to the Common Council, and perhaps projects that are either funded with the fees that come in, or you could also approve bond issues for larger projects that are paid over time. So the assurance that I want to give you, and I'll give the citizens of the City of Lawrence, is this does not change anything as to what they are currently paying or what rates will be charged in the future, which are going to increase throughout Marion County through 2034, because this is exactly identical to the Marion County fee.
We just take the ball and...
Question is, who gets the ball? That's exactly right. So you're making the decision here locally as to how those funds are used, and you're receiving all of the funds with the exception of current and future bond payments for bonds that are currently outstanding that you would have paid for anyway. But the remainder comes directly to the City of Lawrence Stormwater Board, and the City of Lawrence can make the decision as to where those funds can be spent and what they can be spent for, with the advice of your city experts that are sitting behind me. A couple of additional, and I'm happy to go through any of these particulars here. It's a little technical. Essentially, you pay by unit of hard surface, whether it's your roof or a parking lot or driveway. That's how they're determined now. and it's identical to the way Marion County determines it today. The couple of additional items that are in the resolution, Section 3 designates manuals and procedures. Your city engineer has manuals for credits and other
Left
things.
the conference.
They are identical, again, to what's in force in Marion County, and also some procedures. The couple of the procedures that might happen is there is an appeal process if somebody doesn't feel that they were treated fairly on how their property was assessed. I doubt that a homeowner might do this, but a larger taxpayer that might operate a shopping center or something may want to file an appeal. There are procedures for this, and those appeals will actually come to this board. And you'll have legal counsel and engineering and professional help behind me to come to those conclusions. Section 4 requires the acting clerk of the board, who's sitting right over here, okay, to submit the resolution along with Section 2 of this resolution in the form of an ordinance, which we will prepare. Actually, we've already prepared, and we'll share with the council for the attorney for the Common Council, and then it becomes effective immediately upon its passage. First of all, I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any.
I pretty much know a little bit about the watershed, the hard surface, porous surface. Me and Steve Collier kind of went over that with DPW before, well, back when they promised us, yeah, just stay where you're at. Things will work out, which they never did, so I'm pretty up to date on it if you are, Jan.
I've been reading quite a bit, yeah.
So if there aren't any questions, I can answer them at any time.
Not at this time.
So we're out of here, so I'm happy to do that. Mr. Chairman, you do want to open a public hearing before you act on the resolution. We did notice it, and I don't know if there are any members of the public that want to speak, but if you'll open the public hearing, give a few moments for those to identify themselves. If they want to speak, you can close it.
I'd like to open this meeting to the public. Any comment from anybody out here or on the speaker? Seeing none, hearing none, I close the public hearing.
And if you're prepared to consider the resolution, that would be the next item.
I'd like to make a motion to pass the resolution.
I second that motion.
Go first.
Oh,
Second.
there's only two of them. Okay.
I second. The resolution passes.
Put it back there. That's it.
Mr. Bosma?
Thank you. I have nothing further, Mr. Chairman. So
I'd like to,
look forward to working with you all, and you'll see me around for these meetings and in the interim. So we will keep you posted, and feel free to. You'll have my email, my contact information. Feel free to contact me anytime.
all right, does the city have any comments?
Mr. Chairman? No, I don't.
All right, thank you. Well, I'd like to call this meeting to adjournment. I hear a motion for adjournment.
I second that motion.
So moved, we're adjourned.